It gives me great pleasure, indeed, to open up this conference today. I'm Andrew Apter. I direct the James S. Coleman African Studies Center at UCLA. And we are co-hosts of this event, the Global Perspectives on Youth and Violence, together with my colleagues and friends, Marcia Thomas, who directs the United Support of Artists for Africa. That's USA for Africa, not the United States of America for Africa, United Support of Artists. Also the UCLA Latin American Institute, directed by Randall Johnson, the Center for Near Eastern Studies, the Department of French and Francophone Studies, and also the Otis College of Art and Design for allowing the use of artwork outside of the conference room, and also for being home to one of our most dynamic speakers who will be here later today. This is Sammy Flores Peña, who's going to give a special presentation. He's somebody never to miss. In fact, I see him right there. Now, the theme of this conference and the politics of the engagement couldn't be more relevant right now. We've gone through about almost an 18-year period of what's called globalization. Certainly within the academy, globalization has been one of the major paradigms for academic work in the humanities and social sciences. Globalization this, globalization that. And starting with the dot-com revolution, globalization was usually sort of cast in a glowing language, a utopian language of free markets and unfettered capital. There's this sense that the old model's gone, state subsidies and restrictions are over, the state should be minimal, and Reaganomics should reign. And for those of us in the left field, this was always annoying. And it got worse under Bush and Cheney because there the catechisms really moved even further to the right. And any talk of a kind of critique or a critical engagement with the ideologies of this free market mentality became regarded as unpatriotic. We even had this list of the Dirty 30 here at UCLA, where there were 30 professors whose names were published as being possibly unpatriotic and teaching students propaganda that needed to be investigated by Congress, that kind of a thing. I never thought I would live under this kind of McCarthyite moment. Fortunately, it passed. And has it now passed? Yes, it has. So for those of us who followed this period of globalization with a certain anxiety, the current moment is a welcome one, even if it's a difficult one. You know, the youth today represent an emerging kind of global cultural category, not a homogeneous one by any means, defined by certain genres of a politics of style, if you will, of hip-hop, as we'll hear today, of violence, of gang iconography. Not only does the language and the body language of the inner city in the United States go global, it goes to Tanzania, it goes to Madagascar, it goes to Sarajevo, but also the actual gangs themselves. They go from the Chicago South Side and LA as well to El Salvador and Guatemala, and the real networks as well. There's a lot of ugliness and there's a lot of beauty in the spirit of youth violence. There's a lot of anger and there's a potential politics there as well. So I think that we're going to see the people who are looking at this from a scholarly perspective, but also from the people who are working on the front lines with youth, with violence, and have a lot to teach us here. So I think that youth culture as a kind of global underclass, an emerging underclass, deals, I think, with really the difficulties of social reproduction, of what does it mean, not only when you don't have a job, but when your family doesn't have a house or can't pay rent. In Senegal, people share beds. They have timeshares. The youth do, because there's no job. Marriage gets postponed because you can't afford to get married. And what happens when remittances come in? That's a global phenomenon. And they get bypassed through different circuits of domestic expenditure. These are all aspects of the same historical logic that I think we're perceiving from different perspectives. So I'll say no more, except to now welcome Marcia Thomas, my friend and colleague, the director of USA for Africa, and I'll let her say a few words.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I just want to thank UCLA and all the departments involved, but primarily African Studies, again, for the fact that I showed up with an idea about doing something that I thought would be useful and or certainly serve a good purpose to have happen here on this campus, and they went along with the idea. I've done that for the last several years, and so I'm always happy that they're open to ideas that I bring over to them, and that we're able to accomplish these things. And I am happy that we were able to get the people who are here with us this morning. We do anticipate there will be more people as the day goes on, but it's going to be a very invigorating and lively discussion. And I know that as I've learned a lot in the last year or so about what's happening with the youth of the world, and not only about violence, but economically and in every category, that this will be an opportunity for us to benefit from people firsthand who are not only studying the issue, as Andy said, but who are also working on the front lines to deal with this issue, and in some cases are a product of this particular issue itself. I now want to bring up Malia Lazu. Malia is going to set the context for us in terms of what this day would look like, as well as the issue and how all of this comes together, and why all of this is really important for all of us. Malia is one of the brightest minds that we have right now in progressive politics today. She's done so many things, and she is currently the executive director of a project called The Gathering for Justice, which is located in New York, which was an idea and a vision of Harry Belafonte. But she's been involved with organizing, mobilizing around issues of racial justice, political justice, economic justice. For a young lady, she's done quite a number of things. I know people always want to know, well, what school did she go to? She's a graduate of Emerson College in Boston, where she started her whole progressive efforts with a number of programs that she started there around getting out the vote and political issues. An interesting thing I do want to share with you about Malia, she is co-author of a book which I think if you haven't read it, haven't heard of it, or are just curious about what it could say, you should go and maybe Google it. She's the co-author of a book of How to Get Stupid White Men Out of Office. But Malia has experienced firsthand both sides of the issue of this emerging power that young people have, as well as the issues around the youth and the violence that surrounds their community. But she will definitely do a good job to get us all set for the panel that we're going to have today.